No, interviews are for HR folks. HR folks are okay with interviews. That's a part of their job. They do it on a regular basis. That's not necessarily a part of a hiring manager's job. They didn't start their career, most likely, they didn't start their career saying, I can't wait to do interviews. That hiring managers, they nervous too. Hey y'all, this is Timeka, the face behind Hey HR. And y'all, I am super excited to talk about this topic because so many times I hear that folks are like, really nervous about interviews, or they're really scared to do them, or they get on with me and I'm like, are you okay? You know, I'm thinking in my head, I definitely wouldn't say that to them. And at the end of the day, I think we're nervous, or that there is that nervousness basically because you don't know this person. They're asking you questions that you haven't been able to prepare for. It's a job that you're probably super duper excited about. This is growth in your career. And now someone's like pounding on what you know. So you're being tested, you're being challenged. And I get it, it's difficult. Like it can make anyone nervous. I still get nervous on some interviews. And so I just want you to know that I've learned to tackle that nervous energy, because I have really understood that hiring managers, they're probably nervous too. Y'all just need to stick around if you want to hear how I'm letting you know that hiring managers, they hate interviews too. So you might be like, Timeka, how the heck hiring managers gonna hate interviews? It's for a number of reasons. I mean, I almost couldn't even categorize them. I almost just made like a whole list here because it's just so many variables. Because hiring managers are humans too. They're people. They have a lot of things going on just like an interviewee. And as a result, it really plays into if they're excited or not excited about interviews. Throughout my 10-year career, most hiring managers don't like interviews at all. Like, they don't like them. I would say 85% of hiring managers don't like interviews. I don't think that is for one reason or another. I've noticed that some hiring managers like them less or prefer them at different times because it's based so much on what's going on for them in the moment. So some of the things that definitely put you in a space where you're like, hiring managers, they really hate interviews too, is because it takes time away from other duties. They are leading a team. They are preparing for their meetings. They are responsible for a lot of things. And so as a result, interviews are putting someone into this role is taken away from their groove, from them continuing to do what they do and what they prefer to do. No, interviews are for HR folks. HR folks are okay with interviews. That's a part of their job. They do it on a regular basis. That's not necessarily a part of a hiring manager's job. They didn't start their career, most likely, they didn't start their career saying, I can't wait to do interviews. No, they started for whatever it is that they know how to do. So their craft, their talent, their skill set is simply not in interviewing. And so when you're in a role where you're leading a team and you're constantly going through and trying to achieve goals or trying to get things done throughout your day, and you lose someone, now you know not only do I have to go through posting this job, interviewing folks, but I probably am going to have to get this person acclimated with the team as well. So it definitely takes them away from their normal duties. And so that's one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion. Another thing is that they just aren't prepared for them either. Sometimes some companies don't provide trainings to teach hiring managers how to do interviews. Sometimes hiring managers are new themselves. Like, they just started with the organization, and so they're still learning a lot. So they know the job, but do they feel confident enough to like be able to really hit on someone else to feel like they're picking the best candidate for this position? Most times, no. Sometimes it's so sad to say, because I've been in organizations where hiring managers actually refuse training because they think that they know how to do it. And I've said in interviews, and I'm just like, this is horrible. Or someone would start in their onboarding and they tell me things and I'm just like, where'd you get that from? Which tells me that this hiring manager really needed training on their interview style, interview skills, things that they say, things that they do. And so it's just that hiring managers simply aren't prepared for them. So, we already went over the fact that it takes away from their normal duties. And then now I just told you guys all about how they just aren't prepared for interviews. But the next thing is that they just aren't in a rush to hire. I mean, yeah, they may have a vacancy or they know that there's going to be a heavy load load of work coming soon, or they have someone that's in a position that said, you know what, instead of giving you the traditional 2 weeks that we give in the US, I'm going to give you a month, 2 months, 3 months. So they're not in a big push to get someone in that position so early. And as a result, what they'll do is just kind of not really want to do interviews. You know, HR would push for them, let's get it in, because we know that time frame. We know it's going to take time for that new hire to give in their notice. It's going to probably take time on negotiations. It's going to take time to send equipment if you're in a company where you send equipment. We try to fit that timeline. We know that we might not get a good applicant pool, so we might need more time sourcing for these candidates. But hiring managers are like, nah, I got this person for 30 days. I'm really in no rush. They never really tell you, but you can tell that they just aren't in a rush to hire. And so as a result, they hate interviews. They're like,
this is taken away from my duties. I don't have time for this. I don't even need somebody right now.
And I've even seen where they just push it off to the person that's leaving. Like, okay, they're going to do all of the interviews because they don't want to touch it. Or they might not know the job really well too. And I think another thing is this, that sometimes they're planning, or they have already planned to be out of the office. So they might be on vacation. They might be going on maternity leave or whatever. And then they're like, I have so many things I need to do right now. Interviews wasn't one of them, because maybe they're losing someone or adding someone on unexpectedly. It wasn't something that they were prepared for at the beginning of the year or a while before they started interviewing, and it just became like, okay, we need another person on the team. And so now it's just a headache because I'm already trying to cram in so many things to get done before I leave out, and now I have to push in something else. So I saved the best for last, because I want y'all to know that hiring managers, they nervous too. Like, they are nervous too. I've had hiring managers that go, Timeka, you're an expert at this. Can you go over and tell me, you know, how I should go about this, or what should I expect? Or some of the questions are very, very like entry level or 101 type of questions. And it's because they're nervous too. So you guys go into these interviews, be yourself, be exactly who you know you are. Be confident in your space. Practice with a friend, practice in front of the mirror if you need to, because at the end of the day, hiring managers have a lot of issues just like you have a lot of issues. We're all human. We're all people. I always tell everyone to remember the PAR method. Anytime someone asks you a question, you always want to tell them what the problem was, what action you took to correct that problem, and what the result came from you making that action. And at the end of the day, it should be fine. Don't forget that sometimes you want to truly show that you're being yourself. So it's okay to have a relaxed posture every once in a while, kind of pause and think about a question before you answer it. Try to tell them, hey, listen, I'm nervous too. There's just so many things that you guys can do to be successful in these interviews, because honestly, you're just talking to another person. So for those of you who are new to Hey HR, welcome, 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 welcome. I hope that you're finding this to be as advantageous to you as I'm hoping that it is. And for those of you who are returning, I appreciate you. Hey girl, hey. You know, I always appreciate you coming back. I definitely want you guys to know that I appreciate you so much. I truly appreciate how you're watching my videos, how you're constantly commenting on the videos, how you're constantly liking and subscribing. And I just cannot wait to see you on the next video.